Hey, good morning. It's Lucas on New Country 1015 with something brand new called Down to the Studs. Every Saturday morning, I'm going to invite a few guests on to talk all things home. In today's world, with everything that we've got going on, we're all spending a lot more time at home, and that tends to lead to all of us noticing some of the things we don't like. Maybe some of the problems with our home. And we're going to talk about it here on Down to the Studs on New Country 1015 every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and cover the gamut. Everything from pest control, which is my first guest today, Randy from Exterminators, to home security, to HVAC, plumbing, electrical, you name it. We might talk about it here on Down to the Studs. Randy from Exterminators. How do I say your last name again before I screw it up for the fifth time?
It is Chendemi.
Chendemi. There we go. Thank you, sir. You're the service center manager, correct?
I personally run our Woodstock service center. I oversee every daily operations, kind of keep the flow going, and basically, to sum it up, I just keep the guys happy and keep them on the road.
Before we get into all the pest control stuff, Randy, Exterminators was named one of, I take that back, not one of, right?
The number one place to work by the AJC in the city of Atlanta, correct.
And that says a lot. When you treat your employees a certain way,
Yes.
You know that they treat their customers, I mean, probably even better.
Yes.
I have so many questions for you, Randy. I have so many questions.
Let's do it.
I would assume that you've been in a truck, been on the road, and seen some crazy things.
Yes. You name it, we've probably seen it at some point. We find hornets' nests in attics that are size of basketballs that we're trying to remove, to, ants infesting kitchens, or, heck, just recently we've had a house that had termites were found in a houseboat.
Really?
So it could go from one extreme to the other. Correct.
If you're just tuning in, it's Lucas with my buddy Randy from Exterminators. New show every Saturday morning called Down to the Studs on New Country 1015. Randy, let's talk about the STEP system. Industry-leading STEPS total protection system you employ at Exterminators.
So STEPS to us is when we come into your home and we treat and we're using our products, we want to leave as little of an impact as possible at the house. So our goal is to come in, take care of your pest problems, protect the house, but leave no trace behind, so that, you and your family, you and your pets are there. You don't have to leave the house or evacuate for hours. We can coexist together, and we walk out and your bugs are gone and you're still living your life. Man,
how times have changed. I remember having something like that done when I was a kid growing up, and I think we had to leave the house for like 2 days.
Yeah. Well, old school way of treating was we treated every baseboard. You came in, you started one corner of the room, and you sprayed every baseboard around the house. And the products were a little bit different back then, so you could smell them. Or it's like, again, leave the house for a couple of days. It's so much better now, so much safer to be around. And we really take pride in that too, that we can treat just the access areas where the insects come in and eliminate the problem, but not move you out.
It makes sense, right? Instead of carpet bombing everything, if you can close the door, you're going to fix the problem.
Correct. And we also work with the homeowners. Sometimes you'd be surprised how many times we get out there and we give them suggestions of, we see areas that are causing a problem, and by a simple fix, whether it be cutting back shrubbery or doing stuff maintenance on their home, they can eliminate a lot of their problems themselves. So we work together with them. When we treat and we tell them, hey, here's what you can do in the meantime before we come back again.
Yeah, almost a partnership.
Correct. 100% partnership.
This is a brand new show on New Country 1015. My name is Lucas. I'm with Randy from Exterminators. The show is called Down to the Studs. We're going to do this every single Saturday morning, and we're going to talk to different people about everything home related, because we're all home a lot more than we used to be given our current situation.
And we're noticing that too. Well, we have callbacks where they're saying, hey, I'm seeing more ants, I'm seeing more roaches, and it's probably because they are staying home more. And they're not that they haven't been there in the problem or in the past, but they're home more with doing homeschooling. So they're noticing a little bit more what's going on at their house. You find them taking care of their homes more now because they are there more often.
And if that's you spending more time at home, if you see pests, any of them whatsoever, Exterminators can assist and fix that problem for you. I would assume, Randy, that level one is probably ants.
Sure. And that's probably one of the biggest problems we have is ants coming in the home. The most common here people know are the fire ants in the yard. On the inside of the home, we're going to find odorous house ants. Argentine ants are our most common. Generally, you're going to find them in your kitchens, along your cabinets or your basements.
You got ants? Exterminators. You got something else? Exterminators. They cover it all. Everything from raccoons to mice to squirrels to mosquitoes.
Anything any kind of pest that could come in the house, we do. Like I said, squirrels, rodents, rats, mice, down to termites, mosquitoes, everything we cover.
What about bats? I was working on a home that I was remodeling that was built in 1931. I was taking all the plaster off one of the bedroom ceilings and made some new bat friends.
We do run into that quite a bit. Our pest control guys will be out. We're looking in the attics for things, and we'll see those bats up in the gable vents hanging there. And so, yes, we call our home service guys in, and they go take care of that problem and do what they can do to get rid of them.
Those guys need to wear capes.
Yeah, like they're the official heroes, right? And they have their way of removing them, or have, where the bats can leave and not come back, because there's certain times of the year that they can't remove when they have their offspring there. So we have to work with the homeowner on that also, so that we're not breaking any rules as far as violating how we can remove them and what we can do with them.
Now, as the weather starts to change, you may hear some scratching in the attic or scratching inside the walls as pests and rodents are looking for a warmer place to hunker down.
It could be raccoons. It could be squirrels, mostly. Usually what you find up in the attic up there. They're running along and they're getting up underneath that insulation. They're kind of burrowing themselves underneath there, and you'll hear an acorn or something kind of rolling around top of the sheetrock because they're moving them around, or you hear them scratching, kind of making their bedding. Sure, you get that. We get that call quite a bit, especially in the winter months when it's getting colder out and they want to be inside where it's warm. So that's our most common thing we get in the wintertime is, hey, I hear something gnawing or scratching on my ceiling, or they'll notice the entrance holes along the gutter lines or up at somewhere in the siding, and they realize something's been burrowing or digging into the house to get in there.
Down to the Studs, brand new show here every Saturday morning, all things home on New Country 101.5. It's Lucas with Randy from Arrow Exterminators. $50 off right now, your initial pest control service. Check out arrowexterminators.com. If you ever find yourself with any sort of pest issue whatsoever, Arrow Exterminators is who to call. And if those pests have caused damage to your home, Arrow Exterminators can also help with that too. They've got guys on staff that are not only trained professional estimators, but contractors too.
Correct. So we actually split our company up a couple different ways. We have what we call our core pest control, which is residential homes where, general pests, ants, roaches, crickets, things like that. Then we have our home service department, which does what you and I are just talking about. They can eliminate the pest problems, rodents, and then they have the construction guys that can go in there and fix that. So if they've eaten the soffits or they've gotten into the gutters, our guys are trained to get out there and fix that as well.
One-stop shop for it all. Arrow Exterminators. With football season here, a lot of people can't go out to watch the games. So there's a lot of what has been coined home gating going on.
Home gating, that's correct.
NFL already underway, obviously, and the Dogs' first game, the 26th, which I'll be watching from actually a home gating party, ironically enough. Bringing a ton of friends with a ton of food, and that too can invite those unwanted pest guests.
Yes. Wasp and yellow jackets are very popular this time of year. They get out there and there's some sweet foods out, right? And of course, people see bees and they get scared. Obviously, the biggest thing, mosquitoes. We treat those all the way through October. So you get some warm weather out there, this heavy rain that's rolling through, some standing water. And of course, the last thing you'll find outside is house flies. You're out there and you're trying to eat your food and the flies are landing on it. And that's just because they're out there, again, trash cans or some wet areas where they like to live. And it brings them around and you're outside in their environment.
And you guys can come out and spray before said party, before home gating party this weekend, or if you have one planned later in the season, right?
Sure. We get that quite a bit with our mosquito treatments where people say, hey, I'm having a party. Can you come out and treat? And we'll go out 2 or 3 days beforehand, treat the foliage in the yard, try to get that barrier to reduce the amount of mosquitoes you're going to see.
I like that idea so much better than applying bug spray every hour, or the old school blue zapper light.
Still work. You just keep them away from where you are. Don't put them right above you, because guess where the bugs are going to go. So push them away a little bit, I
literally just had a picture of my grandfather sitting in the backyard with one of those blue zapper lights sitting next to him.
Yeah, it's. I think we all did. I think we all have had our grandparents, and you see it out there, and there it is. Every few minutes you hear the zap, right? And everybody's looking at it like, "Ooh, we got another one."
We can do better when it comes to entertainment than zapping bugs at that home gating party. Keep it focused on the football and call Arrow Exterminators. They can come out and take care of all those mosquitoes and whatnot in the backyard if you're going to have people over with a ton of food before they show up. Randy, thank you so much again for taking the time to chat on Down to the Studs, a new home improvement show every Saturday morning here on New Country 1015. Randy Chendemi from Aero Exterminators, the best place in Atlanta to work according to the AJC. You know, if they treat their employees that well, they're going to treat you as good or even better. In fact, right now, you can get $50 off the initial pest control service from Aero Exterminators at aeroexterminators.com. Randy, again, thanks for hanging out on Down to the Studs.
Thanks for having us.